is presented by Betano. The game starts now. Here are your hosts, Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, and boys, I'm joined alongside Jason York and Bobby Ryan, by the way. I've decided, since everything seems to happen between Thursday and Monday, we're just going to go to the shows 7 days a week.
Okay. Let's do them all smack in the middle of the day, too.
Listen, Thomas Chabot gets injured, out 4 to 6 weeks. Hand Brannstrom suffers a concussion. They lose in Long Island. They win on the road. It's their first road win since March of last year in Pittsburgh. They dismantled them without having 3 of their top 6 D. All of that happened while you guys were, I don't know, washing your golf clubs.
I know. And listen,
I was on the road all weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sens hockey fans are content carnivores. They just want more and more and more. Bob, we're only human.
Can't give it to them. Maxed out. I got up and drove 6 hours home this morning to be on time from south of Atlanta, just for the.
That's commitment. That
is
commitment right there.
Yep.
Where were you?
My place down in Georgia. So
okay.
just south of where your boy is.
I'm going to get you to take him a care package from now on.
I told you I would. I'm going through there quite a bit.
Maybe if you could take him some hands, that would be great.
He doesn't want mine.
Did you golf with you must belong to a golf course there too, right?
6, yeah. If you're a member at one, you get 6 courses at Reynolds Plantation. Yeah,
nice.
We got 18 in both. It was absolutely gorgeous down there. And then I came back to just pitiful weather in Nashville, so I might just get in the car and go back.
Well, we had snow today, Bob.
All right, never mind.
Okay.
you guys got it a little worse.
All right, so let's get on with the show, shall we? As I said, the Sens had a big win in Pittsburgh. They had the loss in Long Island. Lots of stuff going on in Pittsburgh, though. Were you guys at all surprised? We'll get to the injuries in a sec. That they are down Zub, Brannstrom, Chabot. They have Mantipalo making his NHL debut, Tyler Kleven his season debut, and it looked like they might as well have been first in the Eastern Conference. They were very good. The shots were a little different. I think at one point Pittsburgh controlled the play, but that's when Jonas Korpisalo did what he got paid to do.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if I was calling that one, but he did. You said it best. He did exactly what he did to do. He didn't steal a game because I thought the Sens were good in front of him at times. But 43 shots against is a lot. But they had a lot of shots from the outside, didn't you think, Yorkie? There's a lot of no big secondary or third chances, maybe a few. But that being said, he didn't steal the game. The Sens played well. He was the first star, and he was phenomenal back there. And it's I think it takes time for guys to settle in, and maybe it just he had a bad week trying to settle in, and let's just hope he's back to it now, because he looked like a position one there the other night.
Yeah, great. You look at the shots, like the Sens were greatly overshot in the first period. It's almost like Ottawa did to Pittsburgh what Detroit did to Ottawa at home. Like you just very opportunistic scoring. You look at Ottawa, they got 3 goals on their first 8 shots of the game. That's a pretty good shooting percentage. And Pittsburgh didn't get good goaltending. Like, with all due respect, again, that just shows you in the NHL, you need your goaltenders to make saves, and Pittsburgh's goalie didn't make saves, kind of like what happened to Ottawa in those games they lost at home. I thought they should have won that Detroit game they lost at home. They just no timely saves, no timely scoring, and that's just hockey. So you're sometimes going to get wins when, not that they didn't play well, but it wasn't their best game. They didn't have the D. I know that, but that sometimes galvanizes your group. It's like, we're missing Chabot, we're missing Zub, we're missing Brannstrom, and then you just play simpler. You play simpler, you manage the puck way better, and after you win a game like that, it really fires up the boys too. It's like you feel really good about yourselves as a group, but you play simpler. And I don't care who you are. If you don't get saves, you're usually not going to win, and when you do, you just got a much better chance of winning. And Korpisalo was really good. So that's good for him. Nice to see him get back into the win column.
Yeah, I agree.
So, by the way, here's a look at the D times from that Pittsburgh game. Jacob Chychrun, I thought it was going to be 58 minutes, but it was only 27-14. Jake Sanderson, 25-58. Hamonic and Jacob Bernard-Docker, both 21-45. Tyler Kleven, I don't believe played any special teams time, and Mantipalo played I think it was 43 seconds of shorthanded time. They did not want them on the ice as much as possible against Sidney Crosby. Although there was a time when I saw the fourth line, Mantipalo and Tyler Kleven out against Crosby's line. I'm like, oh, just hang on. Just get a whistle.
shoot it into the bench.
And the worst is too, like when you're Mantipalo and you're whatever we played 7-8 minutes, you feel like dog crap when you're on the ice because you've been down in the minors, probably averaging 20 minutes a game. You're into the game, and people have no idea how hard it is to play when you play sparingly, because you get on the ice, you're kind of nervous. Your legs aren't feeling great. You're like, just don't fuck up. Don't fuck up. Get the puck in. Get the puck in.
That's Sidney Crosby. That's Sidney Crosby.
There's Crosby. Shit, what's he going to do? So, you mentioned Chychrun, boy. He's had a couple of really good games. Sanderson was good again. Got to give props to Hamonic, too. Like Hamonic,
he looked really good.
Right?
Yeah.
He stepped up. I think Docker was over 20 minutes too. So, hey, it's like I said, they got outshot, found a way to win. Show me a good goaltender, and I'll usually show you a team that wins. It's pretty well sometimes as simple as that.
But there were some scrambling moments. Like they gave up 43 shots, but Ottawa did, and on top of that, they blocked 22 more.
Yeah,
I just felt that they were going to try to make this a win as much as they could. They just all seemed to want to buy into this. Were there mistakes? Sure, but I think as a whole they played well. Plus, they moved the lines around, right, with Batherson and Tarasenko being with Josh Norris.
To Bob's point, when I saw Bob engaging on Twitter a couple days ago with the Sens fan base, threw out a supportive tweet of DJ, not the time to fire him, and all of a sudden you're like surrounded. You had Sens fans all around you. They're after you, whipping stuff at you. But to your point that you made, that just shows to me that a team that's not quitting on their coach. You have a layup of an excuse to lose that game right there. Wow, we didn't have our guys, but instead, this team got together, found a way to win. So it just goes to show you, like, this team is a long way from not wanting to play for this coach. Like, it's the total opposite.
It is. Yeah, it is. I think they like him. I think, like, I guess just to further reiterate the point, I think that it was a layup game to lose for sure. All the excuses were built in. Brady got the team going, and the team and dragged the team into the fight. But they got back to the house. They blocked a ton of shots. It felt like they just wanted to get it done as much for each other, as much as the coaching staff. And you said it a while ago, a coach's main job is to motivate. The X's and O's are pretty much the same across the board, right? With some things here and there that change with different teams and systems and schematics. But DJ is a good motivator. He's a very good speaker in the room. He gets the boys to the level that they need to be most nights. And there's nights where the coach's words fall on deaf ears because you're exhausted and you're in Newark on a Tuesday or whatever. But I think DJ is a very good motivator. And I think that's the biggest piece of a coaching staff.
Yeah, this is what people need to understand that are leading the charge to fire the coach. Exactly to your point, and I'll give you a perfect example. Ottawa is looking to score late in the game. It's not DJ over the boards with the whiteboard drawing up a plan. You see Davis Payne doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When you are getting your penalty kill organized for the game, that's Jack Capuano who's in charge of the penalty kill, I believe. Usually your one has the other. So imagine Jack has the PK, Davis Payne has the power play. So I am a big believer you need to be surrounded by guys that are smarter than you, or just bring a different skill set.
Yeah.
So hey, like I said, I'm a big believer in, and I tell you, I say this story all the time. Barry Trotz, who I played for 2 years, love Barry as a guy. Technically speaking, I played for a lot better coaches that had better ways, X and O's and all that. But Barry Trotz, by far the best guy that got you to be able to play for each other, for him, whoever can get the guys to play their hardest. That's what Barry Trotz, one of the best guys ever had. And to me, that is the most valuable asset of a head coach. Can you get guys to play hard each and every night more often than not? And that to me is the number one trait your head coach has to have.
Oh,
we lost Wally.
Yeah. Oh,
he's
muted
himself.
Hit
Let's
on
take
mute,
this
guy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That might be the
Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Wally? Where'd you go?
Well, so here's just so we all understand. When the show changes, and we talk before the show, and then it goes into the opening, every once in a while my mic switches, but I can't tell because I can't hear our mics, just like you guys can't. So then all of a sudden I'm trying to switch it around, and it just isn't switching. Anyway, so
He's back.
So and now I'm going to talk for the remaining 48 minutes.
Perfect.
You can say all you want about that DJ doesn't do this and he doesn't run the power. He's got to do something. And what he's doing perhaps isn't always working. That's the issue. Fans don't see enough change, but they see lots of player movement. They don't see enough change in the way the team performs for them to get excited and to think that he's doing a very good job.
So I'll tell you one of the biggest problems so far early in the Sens season when things aren't going well is Sens net front. Individual plays where sticks aren't picked up, guys are letting a guy get open, or guys are just losing track of where they are. Say this again. That is not a systems thing. That is not a
stop. Yorkie, it is a coach thing. If they're going to keep doing it, then you get different players or you coach it and fix it.
I agree, but it's not a systems thing. That's like, quit calling it a system. It's not a system.
I didn't. I'm just talking about how they play on the ice. If you want them to be over in the corner when the puck's in front of the net, then you tell them, I want you to be in the corner. All I'm saying is they tell them how to play the game. And if they can't play it the way they want the game played, then they get somebody else in who can.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree. But I'm just saying it is not a systems thing.
We've agreed it's not a systems thing then. It's a coaching issue, though. If Bobby continues to just dump the puck in and go for a change, the coach will say, Bobby, I would like you to carry it in every once in a while. And be like, okay, coach. But if he doesn't, then he needs to sit on the bench, because if he's not going to listen to the coach, then he's just going to keep doing what he wants.
And that's the thing now where we are this year with the Senators. This is really the first time since I can remember that they actually had a really good team on paper. Yeah. So I want to see what the coaching staff can do with this really good team. And right now they're 500. And I just think it's, for me, I wouldn't be firing the coach right now where this team's at right now. That I would do some other things before I would do that, but that's not the first order of business I would be doing right now if I were the Ottawa Senators.
Okay. No. However, Yorkie, I will say that they're being 500 in October is not necessarily a positive, and I'll get to that in a sec. So,
have you seen their other records starting the season in the last 5 years?
They were 4-4 last year.
They were. I remember that.
Yeah.
And we were very high on them last year at 4-4, and some of us are going pump the brakes. Now we're very low on them, and some of us are going pump the brakes.
I'm not saying it's just, let's just see. Like,
okay, wait a sec. Hold on. I need you to do your Wendy's read so I can give you the stat on October.
All right. Well,
who's got up here? Yeah. Is it Bobby? Okay. Bobby's got Wendy's.
I got us. Don't forget, guys, coming soon is the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survival Pool. Get set to join in all the action to win tons of prizes that Wendy's is offering all season long with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survival Pool. including Wendy's newest addition to their all-star burger lineup, the Very Real Barbecue Bacon Cheeseburger. I could go for one right now. Enjoy the Applewood smoked bacon and crispy onions as cheese melts over the fresh new frozen Canadian beef. Oh, boys. Download the Wendy's app and get set for the face-off pool, sponsored by Wendy's. We'll keep you posted when it's running live. That burger reads hitting me after that drive.
You know what? It is really good. I have had a
I gotta get up
bacon
there.
cheeseburger. So time now for Did You Know? Yorkie, this is fitting for you. So did you know the Sens wrapped up the month of October with a 4-4 record? This marked the 12th time the Sens have won less than 5 games in the month of October. The Sens have only made the playoffs twice when winning less than 5 games in the month of October. 1996-97, their first year, and 2002-2003. It is not very good if they don't get off to a better start for the Ottawa Senators. All I'm saying is that's what history tells us. The last time they won 5 games in the month of October was 2017-18.
Okay. Is that all you got to say about that?
Yeah. I was like, I don't care. Because I'm still pumping the brakes, guys.
What else you got for me?
So I'm just trying to point out that while they can be 500, I don't like the start, and I'm concerned as we go into November.
I got a question though. Yorkie, did you know that slide was coming? Did you see that? Because I downloaded that image and I was waiting for this.
No,
I
didn't.
You didn't open your email, did you?
I did. I forgot. I've been prepping for my big sponsor read later. It's like it's like a novel.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a long one. I actually got a printout and everything. I did my job today.
Yeah, right
I did
here.
it. I did it. You guys are going to charge me for paper now.
No kidding. Yorkie's is handwritten.
I took out my feathered pen with a little thing of ink.
Look, I'm not worried about where they're at. I still have them finishing where I have them finishing. I'm not reneging on what I said. I think that the goaltending is going to get better. I think that there's going to be some growing pains with the young defense right now. I think we know that. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But the team can score. Special teams got to get going a little bit again here. But I'm very much more optimistic than I have been in years past.
Really?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
so much
things,
to talk about today.
There's things that are different this year. Like you've got a little more depth, and like to this point, really too. Like Tim Stützle can still play better.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can be more consistent. Like they're at this record, and there's still a lot of guys that I think, not that he's been playing poorly, but it's a little tougher this year, right? Guys are keying on a little more, but there's a lot of positive. Claude Giroux, I thought, got off to a little bit of a slower start, and I thought against Pittsburgh was one of his best games of the year.
Yeah.
Brady, another 2 goals. You look at Matthew Joseph. Everybody wanted to. That's why you should always. It's better to be a little more patient and let things play out. Like people wanted to run Matthew Joseph out of town. It's like pitchforks, torches, chasing him down the street, and like people were willing. If you would have listened to mob rules mentality, most people wanted to trade a first rounder to get Matthew Joseph out of town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think.
Wait a second. I don't know that they wanted to.
But they thought that was the best thing. He's terrible. He got 3 goals last year.
No, that's not it. Teams are up against the cap, and cap space matters. So $3 million is a lot of cap space. So in order to get teams to take him, and a lot of teams are up against the cap and can't make that move, you're going to have to pay to get it moved. And that's what people wanted to see Shane Pinto in the lineup. Name me one person that wouldn't want to see Shane Pinto in the lineup over Matthew Joseph at the start of the season. I don't know that it would be anybody that would say Matthew Joseph first.
No.
And as well as Matthew Joseph is playing right now, I still take Shane Pinto in the lineup. And no disrespect to Joseph, as he's been tremendous, but that right shot centerman is still way more important. My point is, it's like sometimes patience is just, and obviously they couldn't make a move because everybody, Daniel Briere was sitting there like this, rubbing his hands, just waiting. All right, what are you going to give me for Joseph? And then so we'll see again, it's still early, right? It's still early. Who knows? Joseph did the same thing when he came in late in that season, and he was put into a top 6 role. He was scoring like crazy. But the thing different now is he's playing in a third line position, and he's been so good 5-on-5. Again, I thought he was great against Pittsburgh. So, yeah, my point is it's still, I hate saying it, but it's still early. It's still early,
yes.
And like I said, I want to see a little more before drastic measures are taken and you make decisions.
But there are concerns, and that is so. Artem Zub did skate today. They had a skills day, so not a full practice. He skated. DJ Smith not on the ice, which caused some concern or chatter. But coaches don't typically go on the ice for skills day.
No.
So we'll wait to see tomorrow about Artem Zub and if he's back, possibly closer to playing Thursday. Although I'm not sure at this point. But losing Thomas Chabot and Hand Brannstrom, I thought Hand Brannstrom was playing very, very good hockey this beginning of the season. But Thomas Chabot for 4 to 6 weeks, that's a tough blow. And so I went back to find the video because I was like, I remember watching the game and seeing him play, and nobody thought anything of it. And he said he blocked a shot early in the second. This is all I can find. He's in front of the net battling. The shot comes in. He doesn't even flinch at the time, but this is it. This is all there is of him getting hit by a shot. That's the only time a shot comes near him. It drops right by his wrist and then goes on in place.
I honestly thought you sent the wrong clip because I watched it 10 times and I was like, what, as a guy that's gotten hit in the hands and knows how bad that hurts for him, it must have just been the perfect clean break. It really had to have been, because the cleaner the break, the less painful it is, really. Speaking as a guy that had a few.
I defer to you on all hand injuries.
Yeah, it's honestly the little ones that people are like, that's all it was, but it just gets you in that perfect spot, and that's what it looks like happened there. Because he, like you said, no flinch, and he got right back into the play. So probably once the adrenaline came down and the fumes and he got back, he was probably like, oh man, something's wrong here. And noticed it after the fact. And then that's when you go get those x-rays where you're holding your breath, trying to hope that there's no hairline fracture or anything like that. Because if it's not a clean break and it's a hairline fracture, you just have to wait for it to calcify. That is 4 to 6 weeks, almost exactly.
Yeah. I think, Bob, you're like a hand specialist. So does it swell up right away, or is it a delayed swelling?
Mine were always, I had a couple in the fingertips that immediately swelled, and then a couple lower in the fingers that weren't nearly the same. And they kept the swelling down really well because you go right into that splint with the tape, right, so that it doesn't get too big. But yeah, it's just 50-50 for me. So it's probably 50-50 for him as well. You don't know. Yeah.
I never broke a finger or a hand or a thumb. And I see it's unbelievable what certain guys get, right?
Yeah. I mean, Brian Campbell just lifted my stick one time and it shattered. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah.
Really?
He just lifted. Yeah. He just went to lift my stick and his stick and my stick, and it kind of did that slide up thing and caught me on the bottom finger. And it's the most innocent, innocuous looking play. And all of a sudden I'm getting to the bench and I look down and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely broken.
Sorry, go ahead, Wally.
When you see the movie Edward Scissorhands, does anything
more come to mind? Yeah, a little bit, but more like when Ricky Bobby's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And he brings them up like this. I'm like, that's how I felt like years out there.
When Wally, you could appreciate this. When I first started doing television, I would be doing between periods for Sens game, and they're calling me Ricky Bobby because my hands kept coming up, and I was talking with my hands all the time.
Oh, see, and for me, it's on the desk. So then they call you the piano player. So when you tap your hand down on the desk, like boom, boom, like, so they call you playing the piano. People have done videos with piano keys. Anyway. All right. So just quickly, your thoughts on losing Thomas Chabot for 4 to 6 weeks, Yorkie?
It's a big loss. It's a big loss. He's just a guy that you don't notice all the little things he does in a game, like transition the puck with his skating out of the defensive zone. That's probably his biggest asset. Going back for pucks, coming up, taking it out, and people just take that for granted. Sure, he was inconsistent defensively to start the season off. I thought he wasn't playing his best hockey, but the little things like I talk about, getting it up to your forwards, making plays, that will be missed. No matter how you slice and dice it, someone's going to have to step up. Good news, Chychrun's playing great right now.
Yeah.
Hamonic jumped up, had a nice game. So, and Zub looks like Zub is going to be back sooner than later. So they should be able to handle it. They got depth now. But yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to leave a mark.
Hey, how did you cue that up so fast?
That's Gavin. You know what? He's been doing this show for like 17 years. That's the first time he's really gone out on his own and done something good. I like it.
Well done. Well done.
He gets Employee of the Week.
I was close to putting Talladega Nights in my top 5 comedies. Like it's right there. It's
number
right
2
there.
for me.
I went back and we rewatched Wedding Crashers last week, and I don't think you miss in that movie. Go back and rewatch it, and then come back with the one-liners that you missed. It's absolutely line after line.
Hey, I gotta give you guys some homework. If you haven't watched it yet, you gotta watch Old Dads.
Old Dads, I've seen that.
It's so good.
Going on my list.
There's not too many good comedies that are getting released nowadays.
Yeah.
But Old Dads, get a few corny things, but you'll enjoy it.
You can't make a joke anymore, so you can't make a comedy.
Bill Burr makes some good offside comedy in this one.
He's fantastic. I will watch that.
Old Dads.
I meant to go back and get Bobby your Halloween costume from a couple years ago, where you're the bathroom attendant, because the Sens did have one of the reasons they did a skills skate today. By the way, the Sens had their annual Halloween party last night. A few pictures came out, not many. So that's one of the reasons why wasn't a lot going on the ice today. I don't think people just trying to get through the day for the most part.
You know how those days go. Maybe I'll just ride the bike, throw a skills day. Coaches, the boys would have had that lined up with the coaches and all designed. So
well, they don't play till Thursday.
It's a perfect time. It's a good team thing. It's one of the best nights of the year for the guys and the girlfriends and the wives to all. You don't get a chance to really just cut loose together very often and have some fun. So it's a great night, and it's a great team building night.
And Halloween's easier because it's earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Christmas. There's so much going on. Families in town. Christmas parties are terrible for that kind of stuff. I always thought the Halloween party was always the best time.
I agree, 100%. All the rookie parties were a little fun too.
Oh, well, yeah. Not that anybody invited me to one, but yeah,
they were okay.
Speaking of which, Yorkie, time now for your DoorDash read of the day.
Oh, here we go. Well, this show,
hot or cold?
Yeah. This show's proudly delivered by DoorDash, and just like Wally's well-coiffed silver fox hairdo, DoorDash delivers the goods. With restaurants, grocery, pharmacy, batteries, flower shops, and more, DoorDash really has everything you need. Ordering's easy. Just go to the DoorDash app, choose what you want. Your items will be left safely outside your door. With our default contactless delivery setting with DoorDash, with Double Dash on DoorDash, you can order from multiple restaurant stores, same delivery without additional delivery fees. Everyone can get what they need. All right, boys, this is important here. So for a limited time, listeners can get 25% off, 0 delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter this code NATION25, all uppercase letters. So don't forget, that's 25% off, up to $12 value, 0 delivery fees on your first order. And you can check that app out. And don't forget about that code NATION25. Valid in Canada, subject to change. And my goodness, Wally, this is like a long haiku.
Bobby, you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't need that.
Yorkie, you didn't read the lines at the beginning.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I said, just like Wally's well-coiffed hairdo.
No, that's
DoorDash
not there.
Delivers the goods.
That is not there.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I can swear I'm reading it right now.
It was about you making great tape-to-tape passes, but
I might have ad-libbed there and used someone else's name instead.
Yeah. So it's time
taking a shot on me at Twitter because there's no goals left in that. I saw that.
Oh, we can get to that later. There's so much. This is a 4-hour show today. Hot or cold? And so this is why I messed up the reads. I should have given Bobby DoorDash today. Bobby, you have the hot or cold performer of the day.
I do, and I think you could have picked a number of guys, but I'm sticking with Jacob Chychrun. Just been elite all year, and when called upon, when a couple guys go down, he was the best player on the ice. Well, excuse me, one of the best players on the ice.
Yeah.
Kind of led the charge with a goal and assist, and just logging a lot of minutes, and a lot's going to be asked of him. So it's good that he's playing as good as he is.
Those numbers, by the way, are the last 2 games. I apologize. I forgot to put that stat on there.
No worries. I went over the weekend, but yeah, goal and assist, 2 points. Fires the puck every chance he gets. I like that. And he's not selective about it, but he gets them through. They all kind of got seeing eye shots, and he's going to be playing 25 to 30 minutes here for the next little while. So let's hope he stays hot, because he's for $4.6 million. He's playing pretty damn good.
Yeah, bargain.
So he is. I think it's Adam Fox who leads all D-men in scoring with 10 points. He's right there, 8 points. He's playing really well. I know it's early. I don't want to get too excited, but I think you sometimes need to talk early in order to set the tone. Can we consider at least a little bit of conversation about that trophy at the end of the year for defense?
Whoa.
Wow.
They bringing the heat early.
He's plus 3,900 on Botano right now to win the Norris.
Yeah. Well,
Jake Sanderson's not on the list. Thomas Chabot is, by the way.
Yeah.
I just, the way, if he can continue to play this way, all I'm saying,
Yeah.
if he can continue to play this way, I think he should be part of a conversation.
well, a big part of the Norris, probably the biggest part, is you got to put up obscene numbers. So he keeps up this pace, he'd have to probably throw up 70 points. You throw up
20 goals for,
Okay, if he gets 20 goals and 50 assists, he will absolutely be in the conversation, and has a decent plus minus. It's such a numbers. The problem is you get a lot of people that vote that don't watch the games, so they just look at the stats. So if his stats are keep up this way, he'll have a chance for sure. And to Bob's point, that shot of his from the point, he's able to kind of change, sell it, move, and then he might have one of the hardest quick wristers in the league for defensemen. That's really tough to do.
With your feet moving,
with your feet moving, and then to get it on net with some mustard on it, because that thing's still coming at a pretty good clip. It just goes to show you how strong he is, and he uses the whip of his stick extremely well. To me, that's been his biggest asset. Offensively on the blue line, getting shots through, and he has an incredible nose for the net of jumping down from the blue line and grabbing a rebound that's come off of a forward stick or defense. That's really hard to time. His offensive instincts are very good. Couple points earlier this season, I would have liked a few better defensive reads, but hey, everybody makes a few mistakes here and there. Overall, it's not coaching. Overall, he's been tremendous so far. He's been great ad.
Yeah, a little early to talk about that, but
it's not.
But I will say what's going to be very important is that they don't burn him out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I know he's going to play elevated minutes, and I know he's in phenomenal shape. He takes care of himself. He's into the recovery and the diet, and is a little out there with some of it from what I understand. But at the same time, you can't just burn him out waiting for Chabby to get back. You got to find somebody else to take a few more minutes off his plate, because 27 a night's not going to be. It's too much.
It's a lot.
What's
his go-to? What was he eating again? Some kind of animal heart?
With the beef, like the liver, and he was a carnivore, basically, is what I understand. But ate all the heart and the marrow and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. He's gonna have to get some extra marrow in the fridge. keep that body going.
Yeah,
he was great when we had him on. He came into it pretty in depth when he came on our show, but I was eating. I couldn't do it, but hey, who knows? He looks great, so he's obviously onto something.
I appreciate when you can have that kind of discipline to do that, because there's being a high performance athlete and taking care of your body. Then there's that level. Not a chance. So I did a story I remember on Spets. We made a big deal when he first started eating caribou I think it was. And I think he started going to Gary Roberts at that time because if I'm not mistaken, Gary Roberts nutritionists all talk about different kinds of meats and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so ostrich, I think it was.
Oh, thank you.
And so I remember going over and I'm like Spence is like, yeah, the fridge is full of ostrich meat. I'm like, okay. Fair enough.
To each
What's
their
the
own.
weird? What's the weirdest thing you guys have ever eaten?
Pig's ear and cow tongue when I was in Belarus, Russia.
Did you like it?
No.
What about you, Bob?
I don't know that I've ever really been out there. I just saw that pop up. I haven't had gator bites because I'm in the South now, so gator, I guess.
Oh, and tastes like chicken.
Honestly, yes. Frog leg, frog legs that the bays back in the day, probably, but they all taste like chicken. It's leathery.
When I was playing in Switzerland, we used to go to this steakhouse after every Saturday night game, and all the Swiss guys loved eating horse. And I couldn't do it. And finally, I think it was the last night in town, we had the vino going. All right, I'll try the horse. I couldn't get the picture out of my head though of like a horse running and
just free as can be.
Secretariat. Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I had a bite and then hammered some wine. Couldn't do it.
No.
Okay.
I think I draw the line at anything you could actually have as a pet, right?
Or ride anything you can ride.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna move on. We've got a ton of stuff still to talk about. Gavin, fire up the Botano, please. As this show is always proudly presented by our number one sponsor, Botano. Go to botano.ca, download the app. The game starts now. Online betting for all of your sports, including tonight is the sports equinox, the only time of the year where I think Major League Baseball, NHL hockey, NFL football, and NBA all on and same time. Live bet builder, same game parlays, and look at placing a bet for the Norris Trophy at Jacob Chychrun plus 3,900 just today. Also by BEI, Bonshire Excavating Inc., helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. All your equipment rentals and aggregate topsoil sales and needs, custom crushing and screening. Also, they are looking to hire. So if need be, go to BonashireExcavating.com and apply online. And as Bobby likes to say, Free Hockey Friday. That's all part when you join BEI. 613-432-1120. Okay, moving up front to the forwards. What do we think about? I want to get to Ridley Greg in a sec overall, but moving Josh Norris up to the, we'll call it the second line alongside Tarasenko and Batherson. I would like to point out that Batherson and Kubalik both got they both scored on the weekend. Kubalik with his first of the season. They look better. Does it matter that they were playing where they were playing? Do we like this shift in the lines? Bobby?
I do. I think Norris was always going to be your top six guy. He's gotten his feet wet. He got back into it. He's got some timing back. Get him back towards, those bigger minutes and more elite players because he's obviously scored at a high clip for most of his career. So I do. I think I like Kubalik with the other guys because he can really just be the only shooter. I think that gives him that opportunity. And what a shot the other night. Hey, when offside. Back against the grain, like that's a perfect shot, and that's what you brought him in for. But those other guys can get him the puck. Greg can really, he can distribute a little bit, and I think that gives Kubalik a little more chance to relax and settle into the shooting role as opposed to where he was higher in the lineup. It kind of made him become the forechecker. Not, he did it well, but it wasn't his play. That's not his style. So I like that change. I think it gives him a chance to just focus on getting open for those other two guys and not having to clear space for the better players on the other two lines. But he's supported well in that opportunity up there. I just think this is probably where he belongs. And that's not a detriment.
I'm going to open up a whole can of worms here, boys.
Oh, here we go.
So look at where this team, if you're looking long term for this team of I always say next year, I see them as a playoff team this year and next year making some noise in the playoffs. So if you say that Pinto is going to be in your lineup and be your right shot centerman, correct? I think we're all in agreement there. I'm really impressed at Ridley Greg. I just, to me, he's going to be your prototypical hard third line center.
Mike
Iceman
Fisher.
with skill. Man, I've been so impressed. I love the chemistry of Batherson and Norris. To me, and you said this about 2 shows ago, Bob. Norris is a finisher. The way he can, like, he seems to know how to get into those soft spots in the offensive zone. And a lot of times when he's playing with Drake almost becomes kind of the center, but he's not a center. I could see one day potentially you see Norris moving to the offside. Tarasenko is not going to be here next year. Like, we all know that. Like, that's not happening. So maybe we do see one time where you have Stützle, you have Pinto, you have Ridley Greg, and potentially Josh Norris moves to the wing, because once the puck's dropped too, it's F1, F2, F3 anyhow. It doesn't matter. You're all over the ice. But I don't know, Bob. You're a winger. How hard is it for a centerman to switch over to the wing?
So, well, it's much easier than going the other way, right?
Yeah.
I will say this: Ryan Getzlaf's one of the best players I've ever played with, and arguably a Hall of Famer. You put him on the wing, he's absolutely lost. Really? He gets the puck, doesn't look, and just throws it across the ice, and he'll be the first one to tell you, because he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So he's like, I know there's a guy on the other wing. I just throw the puck over there. It's not a problem in the offensive zone at all. Like you said, Josh is going to find his spots no matter what position you put him in.
Yeah.
I would say the hardest part would be coverage in the defensive zone and you have to give him time to learn how to play in the defensive zone along the wall. It's not easy, right? It's not, that puck gets rimmed, you're meeting a guy at the puck all the time. It's hard to learn at an elite level at that age if you haven't been taking reps like that for a very long period of time, obviously. But I do think Josh is skilled enough to do it, and I don't think he would be scared of the position. So
no,
I do believe he'd be okay at it.
No chance I'm putting him over there.
To your point, I got put on wing. I'd never played it before in Detroit, and I played a week on the wing. I felt like a horse with blinders on. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, you're getting the puck, you're there. Guys, these pinching up on you. There's nowhere to go. You got to make such fast decisions on the wall. And I agree. To me, it's like, I'd rather play as a defenseman. I'd rather play center, because you're in the middle. You can see everything. You're down low. But yeah, no, I'm just thinking long term. I'm like, what happens to this group? I know time will dictate what happens, but you look at the shoulder, not having to take face-offs. I don't know. I'll see. I've been impressed with Greg. Not that I haven't been impressed with Norris. Yeah. He's just coming back. But I'm just trying to think, where does this team go long term with their center ice position? So good problem to have.
Yep.
Well, could you just make him your fourth line center?
What?
Or does he? Well, if you could go Ridley Greg, if you could go Stützle, Norris, Pinto, and Ridley Greg down the middle of the ice, how dominant would you be?
You'd be pretty good.
Right?
You'd be set at center ice for sure. But that's the problem, is Ridley Greg's not a fourth line player.
Yeah,
I don't know.
By the way, I would like to point out, because Gavin put the board up, is Ridley Greg leads all rookies in scoring with 7 points. He also leads them at plus-minus with +7. So again, I'd like to talk about trophies at the end of the year and think that he should be considered for that trophy, even though I know we're 8 games into the year. And the only reason I say that is if we don't talk about it, nobody is going to.
Hey.
And I think he deserves to be, the way he's played as of right now, just deserves a little chatter at the moment.
I could not agree more. Here's the case in point: is he's getting an extended look now because somebody's out for 41 games. That is a fact. But if that player comes back and he's ready to play game 42, whatever it might be, what is his role? Does it diminish him? Does it push him to the wing and he doesn't play the same? So, right. And this can happen to any player on that list. Any player on that list could be bumped out by a trade, or that's how it is at being a rookie. He absolutely deserves the credit right now. He's been tremendous. I just want to be cautious before it becomes something in Sens land where you don't know what the case is going to be in January. because it could change dramatically.
And I understand that completely. All I'm saying is if we wait until March to say something about how players are playing, then no one's going to pay attention because everybody's still talking about Connor Bedard or whoever. Connor Bedard is -4 on the year.
Yeah,
but
well, he's in Chicago. Let's
right. I understand, but all I'm saying is people who vote just start to hear names mentioned all the time, and that's how. And then they get, maybe it's, I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about Connor Bedard and Luke Hughes. Well, but maybe they need to pay attention to the body of work some people have put up. That's all I'm not saying give him the Calder now. I'm just saying we need to keep on that.
I agree.
Agreed. This is what he's doing. He's basically knocking down the door right now on the opportunity he's been given, because he very easily could have came in and played tentative, turned the puck over, taken bad penalties, but he's doing everything I've asked of him and more. Like this is how you forge out your career. When you get an opportunity, what do you do with it? And right now he's making the most of it, man. Like, I can't say enough how much I enjoy watching this kid play. He brings something the other centers don't, and that is a little bit of nasty with some skill as well. Like, come on, that hit on DeBrincat, like he just like, talk about taking Sens, like winning the hearts of Sens fans by doing that. He just a lot to like, and it's early, but so far he's got an A+ on his exam.
Yeah, and same thing with. I mean, ironically, it was Shane Pinto last year who scored 20 because of injuries to Josh Norris. It's right. Make the most of that opportunity. So I just I hope he just continues to play the way he is. And so that at the end of the year, we continue to chat about how well Ridley Greg has played.
If he plays this way, Wally, he'll probably win the Calder. Like, if this keeps up.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Can you sustain it? And that's why, like I said, we'll see. But so far, man, it's impressive.
By the way, did you guys see the hit that Mark Kastelik put on in Long Island?
Yeah, massive.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It took me a second.
That's a hit. Like, that's a thunderous hit. Yeah,
it was behind the net, down in the He's a big man. Like, what is he? 220, 6'4"?
I like Mark Kastelik's game. Yeah,
me too. Yeah, I think he's a great fit for that fourth line.
All right. Last topic I want to bring up. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's probably going to be more.
Nope. Last one. You said it.
Yorkie, I did say if the show got 100 likes, we would tell who our guest is for tomorrow, but we're at 78.
Yeah, we got to wait. Need 100 likes before we can announce her.
Like, it's a whale of a guest.
Has this guest ever been on a podcast or done anything? Like,
I don't think he's done an interview. Like, I can't remember the last time.
Will be his first. Oh, Wally, what a beauty too. You're gonna love this guy.
I can't wait. You guys are can't stop saying stuff. You're gonna bury the lead here.
Well, I hope you, by the way, have you two have read all the notes I've sent you.
I absolutely intend to tonight.
There's like 6 pages of notes.
There's a good amount.
I gotta give him a call after we get off the air today. He wants me to. We gotta go over some stories and what.
Here's a little tidbit. He was Yorkie's roommate one time on the road.
Well, yeah, for about the whole season we were roommates. Great roommate, you're great roomie. We had so much fun.
Yorkie, we are at 117 likes.
Just like that.
Wow. Yeah.
Just like that.
That escalated quickly. Our guest tomorrow. Can I do it, Yorkie? Are you okay? Would you like to announce it?
You're all fired up. Go ahead.
Our guest tomorrow is the first draft pick in Ottawa Senators history. I'll just wait for the chat to fill out who that is, and then we'll continue on. So I would like to talk. Actually, let's do it before I get into the next topic. Alex Degg will be the guest on our show tomorrow. He has a documentary. He has a documentary coming out in 2024, early 2024, on his career. Netflix. I think that'll be fantastic.
Netflix doc refers to himself in the third person as the Daigle.
Seriously?
Beauty. Wearer of a silk scarf back when nobody was wearing a silk scarf. He is a man of mystery. Nobody knows what's going on, where he's been, what's going on, and people will find out tomorrow.
When
So
was he? I'm trying to think if he was I remember a big time Russian player playing men's league hockey in El Segundo, California. Was he living in California in the summers?
Yeah, he was there for a while. Yeah, he was. I think he was working. He's still working for a production company, but yeah, he was down there. I kind of lost touch with him, and we reconnected when we did. We had a big outdoor game back
cool.
at Parliament Hill, and this was funny. He was the best guy on the ice.
Don't talk about the game.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, he was joking. He goes, "That's what happens when you never go in the corners. You fly around, and you're healthy. You're healthy when you're retired."
That's amazing. I can't wait. I'll be taking the back seat on this one and just laughing, boys.
I'm super excited. So it's a bad transition, but I want to get to Adam Johnson and what happened as he tragically lost his life on the ice. And for that, I feel terrible. I also feel terrible for all who are involved, because that's a really tough thing to try and go through. But my point, and I want to bring this up to you two, why can't we just wear neck guards? Why do you guys have to fight so hard to wear neck guards? And in fact, I'll go back to, I related to my son who's at 16 and last year at 15 took his neck guard off because nobody was wearing them and they don't have to. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, well, the rules, you don't have to anymore. I'm like, that's ridiculous to me. So after this, he is now looking at getting the turtleneck to wear, like not the Alexei Yashin one, but cut resistant, if you will. Well, why can't we get NHL players, guys, to consider neck protection?
What do you think, Bob?
I mean, I would never wear one. It would bother me incessantly. It's too hot. It itches. They're uncomfortable. And I have zero, and I said before the show, zero issue in minor hockey players wearing them. Zero. I think it's just an individual choice. I don't know. If you went into a room and asked Brady Tkachuk to wear a neck guard, he's going to laugh you out of it. Nobody wants to wear them. Yeah. They're awful.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're done with it, it becomes, like you said earlier too, by the time you're done with it, it becomes a necklace because guys are just going to make that thing smaller and slimmer to not wear it.
It's
so we're just supposed to go, okay.
Yeah. It's
I just want us to be smarter.
It's hockey's, when you really think about hockey, and first off, I feel so bad that like I saw I don't know if you guys saw the real video and what happened. It's so tough. I feel so bad obviously for the player who lost his life, the player that did it, everybody on the ice. Man, I hate seeing stuff like that. But when you really think about hockey, how crazy the game is and how fast things go on. And I really didn't think about it until I was old and about to retire. I remember playing my last game when I was 37. And I knew that's when it was time for me to retire, because I went into my last game actually thinking, man, hope I don't screw my leg up or my back up and I'm not able to walk and play with my kids when they grow up, because it's just crazy. When you think about all the major sports, the fact that you used to play this game with no helmet is completely nuts. And now it went from a visor, which I never thought guys would agree to, but it's come in. And even too, like I remember when my kids were playing junior and I'm like, there's so much stuff that can go on in a hockey game. You're skating around on razor sharp blades. You got weapons in your hand. There's a puck flying around 20 miles, 100 miles an hour. It's a dangerous, dangerous game. And I don't know what the answer is. Sure, I'd love to see guys wear neck guards. It'd be great. But the way it works is it has to go through the NHLPA. They have to vote for it. And everything takes time. And I think this will change the minds of some guys. Hey, look at Crosby and Malkin, two of the guys that wear the ear guards, or guys used to be laughed at in the league if they put a visor on. Like they would be taunted. Like when I first came, that's because of Don Cherry. No, it wasn't because it was just because of the players.
He went at players for wearing visors. I thought it was ridiculous.
Wally, nobody was on the ice saying, "Hey, I'm going to make fun of you because of Don Cherry." It was just a macho thing, and you didn't wear one because you didn't want to be taunted by their team. So everything takes time. I think this, I don't know what'll happen, but for sure it would help. But hey, you could be standing in front of the net and just remember when, I don't know if you remember this, Bob, I remember Steve Yzerman got a puck right in the face. You get it in the right spot in a temple or wherever, like some bad shit can happen. And
I was standing right next to Tamo when he broke his jaw and the slap shot was coming past both of us. And I remember the sound and just him dropping.
Like you could get, this could happen. It wouldn't matter if you had a neck guard on. Let's say you're engaged in a puck battle in front of the net, slap shot comes and you're up battling. If that gets you directly in the right part of the Adam's apple, you could shatter that, and who knows what could happen, right? There's just
Trent McCleary. McCleary.
Yeah, there's
he took the slap shot in the throat in Montreal.
You could be lying on the ice and the neck guard could get pushed over. There's just there's so many intangibles in the game of hockey. That's why it's so dangerous, and that's why guys make a lot of money playing it, because it's very, very dangerous. And
okay, but at the World Junior level, Yorkie, at the highest level of junior hockey players, they all have to wear neck guards. Yes, they all came off on the ice. There was a ton of them laying on the ice, whatever. But if they can all wear them and play at the highest level, then I think they all should. And I really think they should all, from 19 down, should all be wearing them. I don't understand that.
Right. Listen, I agree.
Yeah. I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
None.
Hey, listen, when I was coaching junior, in our league, the CCHL, I wanted everybody in full cages. I was one of the guys that voted for it because, like, well, why are we doing this? Like, stupid. These guys they're going to college next year. That's where they want to go. Why are we wearing half visors? But I got voted down. Now it's getting grandfathered in that league.
And they're mad about it. And we're talking about some of them are 16-year-old kids.
I know. But hey,
let them have a visor. Let them have a full cage. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I agree. But
so here's my question, Bobby. Would you go on the ice and not wear a jock?
You want to know something?
Don't tell me I did all the time.
All the time. All the time. Is that not at the pro level, but I did up until juniors. And no, I would not do that now.
Okay.
Obviously.
So it's probably, I don't know, is it comfortable? Like, my point is, people always say, well, it's not comfortable to do it, but it's protection. I just think that there should be some kind of neck protection because of the way the game is played now.
I just think that you're getting like what. Okay, so when we put there is always going to be freak injuries in hockey. Yes, this one is obscenely more tragic because of the outcome, but there were always freak injuries, and I do understand, the conversation, but you're going to get to a point where you're going to want players in bubble wrap out there and Michelin suits. And the first player that get hurt, we're going to be calling for something else. I think at that level, it has to be an individual choice. And I think it was Yorkie who said you might see some guys in turtlenecks with the cut resistant now, or just this bogged their mind and made them think about it. And I would never make fun of a player for. Well, you know what? I used to make fun of Plekanec all the time for that turtleneck.
He just retired, I think.
Yeah, we used to just absolutely give it to him for that thing, but. I don't think anybody would fault anybody for it because of the reasoning and what just happened. I know for myself, I'm never putting one on. And it's arguably scarier playing against beer league men now on Tuesdays afternoons than it is in the NHL.
I get that.
Yeah. Arguably more scary.
I'm in a very scary league on Tuesdays. Average age, my right winger is 66, and my
so he's younger than
play
you.
center, and my left winger I think 61. We're not noted for speed out there.
No, shutdown roll.
Hey, just remember Gretzky in LA. He wore the full white turtleneck there.
Yep.
Yashin had the turtleneck on.
I know. I just think that there's a safer way. That's all I understand that there's still going to be, like, people's wrists get cut and they're wearing gloves. I understand that stuff, but it just seems like that's the one area. And for whatever reason, it seems like there's been more incidences of close calls, perhaps, of skates coming up, like guys get hit on the boards, they come up. That one's, man, that's a concern for me.
Yeah. Like, could you not think of something in hockey too, where so many guys losing teeth? Couldn't you just make, I always wondered this, kind of stupid to say this, but Just a nice like space bubble you can wear that didn't affect your vision. Nice
Get
breathing thing out of it.
chainmail for everybody all the way down. Everybody will be see what it feels like to be as slow as me out there if you put them in chainmail. You'll figure out how good I really was.
Here's the thing, Wally. If most people got a chance to go down, I always say this, ice level, and watch how fast the game of hockey at NHL level is played, you would be blown away, and you think there's not a chance I would put myself in that position. There's so much bad things that can go on at any given time. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I agree, and I know you guys accept that, and you get paid according to that as well. But I don't see why you wouldn't want to try and be safer.
Hey, now that I'm playing, I'd have the turtleneck Kevlar on, I'd have the visor down in my mouth, the old Danny Heatley visor. Hey, he'd have had that visor right down there.
Yes, but
of the Crosby ear guards on.
All right. So, Bob, is there? And I'll refer to you because you played more recently. Is there ever conversations in the room about injuries like that?
Oh, well, I mean, guys are undoubtedly talking about it. But that conversation doesn't ever lead to, are we going to be forced to wear a neck guard? Or when, I think it was Evander Kane last year with the, the wrist, right? Yeah. Sorry. Guys will watch the video. I'm sure that clip's being played on TSN to a degree, or maybe they're just kind of edging away from it, whatever it might be. The conversation will be had, and most of the conversation, unfortunately, in the locker room is like, man, that sucks, but it could have been any one of us, and you just carry on. That's all it really is, isn't it, Yorkie?
Wally, if you're an NHL player and you let these thoughts creep into your head about getting hurt, and you lose your edge, if you lose your edge a little bit, like this is why guys get so dialed into play, all the prep, routine, focus. You can't play in the NHL unless you are crazy talented, unless you are super dialed in. And you hear this all the time. What happened? I lost my edge. You can't lose your edge, because as soon as you lose your edge, you're done. And part of that edge is you accept what can go wrong, what can happen, and you don't think about it. Because if you think about that, you can't play. You're going to be scared, and you can't do it. And that's just the reality of all pro sports. Look at football. Like, look at the shit that can happen when you're playing in the NFL. It's a car crash every play. Like, it's nuts when you really think
understand
about it.
But there was a time when players fought to wear helmets. They're like, no, we're not wearing helmets. This is stupid.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not.
You would have played. Did you play with against Craig McTavish? The last guy not to wear a helmet? Yeah.
Wheeling around, no helmet. But here's the thing: you'd go into the corner with him, and you would not try and get him in the head. Like, that's kind of. If you talk to a lot of the old school guys, they'll tell you when the helmets came on, the sticks came up. And
that's what they say about college hockey in the U.S. is that because there's no fighting and they all wear cages.
It's crazy.
More stick work.
I was just at my son's game at Elmira College. They had a big win the other night, 2-0 to start the season. The pace and the ferocity of the hits and the running around, the guys are amped up, and they all got full cages on. They're diving in front of pucks. Like, it's chaos out there.
Yeah. Before we go, and I won't, Bobby, I won't ask you a question. We're just going to make a comment. The Dadonov thing, or Evgeny Dadonov, depending on how you refer to it. He arrived after you were gone, right?
He
didn't
did
play with him. Yeah.
No.
There's all the chatter about what happened with the no trade clause or whatever between Vegas and Ottawa and what's going to transpire. People keep asking, well, why didn't they just look up on Cap Friendly? You would see he had a no trade clause. So here's the only discussion I have about this is the Sens started doing it. I don't know if other teams do it. I think they do. Is they started asking at the beginning of the year for your list of no trade clauses, right? And I think they probably asked for yours, Bob.
Correct. Every year before the season. Yeah.
And they gave you maybe 10 days to submit it.
It's something like, it was something quick, and it was always such a no-brainer for everybody.
So from what I understand is they're either saying Dadonov didn't submit his, or that the Sens are saying they don't have it, and that made it void. And if he didn't submit it, they're saying it's null and void, and so they didn't have to disclose it to Vegas. That's the only way that this can possibly be an issue. Because yes, they would know that there's a clause, a no trade clause, but they need to have that list. And so the trade call will certainly, which I believe they're all recorded, will obviously get to the bottom of it, I would assume. But yeah, that's the only way that this can possibly be an issue, is if Dadonov by chance didn't submit the list, or that they said they didn't get it in time and that voided it.
Is there? I thought it was already ruled on. There's a punishment coming. No.
Well, I'm waiting for the punishment. I'm assuming there is, but I haven't heard of the said punishment.
But I thought everybody was in agreement that, according to what was released, I think Elliott released it, that Ottawa screwed up, and
well,
they didn't.
That's what they're saying, but the punishment hasn't come out yet. So have they come to a final agreement on what the punishment is? Like, I keep hearing it's a first round pick. That may very well be it, but I haven't heard them come out and say, here's what happened. I believe that Peter McTavish, who was the assistant GM at the time, I think they're going to try perhaps to say that he messed up. I don't think he did. So we'll see what happens.
If something like this happens, it's who's ever in charge. The buck stops with who's the boss, who's running the show. Like it or not, that's what it is. And we'll see what happens. And I'm intrigued to see exactly what did happen, because you're hearing all the rumors. I don't know for sure, but at the end of the day, when mistakes are made, you can blame other people or whoever's fault is, but the buck stops with who's ever making decisions, and that's just the way it is.
Well, my understanding is Pierre Dorion was the only one on the trade call from Ottawa at the time.
Yeah.
So, man.
So
I want to see it. I don't know, Bob. I want to see what happens before I make a full comment on it and what the situation is. Like,
there's no timeline though.
Like for a punishment?
Yeah.
No,
it's just up in the air. Okay.
So I heard last week in the office that there was rumblings about it, but I don't know, and so nothing's been made public. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for letting me and the fans know, because I had to text you guys when I was like, does anybody know anything about this?
It's a mess, because then Vegas tried to trade Dadonov to another team and found out, no, I got a no trade clause. Well, wait, what?
They were like, you're off to Anaheim. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm not. I remember somebody told me that's what happened in the locker room when they told him he was traded. He goes, no, I'm not.
Really? Like, I'm not taking the no free tax or the no tax to go to California.
No. I'll keep the 13 extra %, please.
Like, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Dallas, Anaheim, that's at least 20%.
Yeah, Vegas, Anaheim, right? Yeah.
Well,
Vegas,
he ended up.
No,
after that,
this was when they traded him to Dallas, to Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were talking about when he went off to Dallas after.
No,
so it was.
But Dallas would be a cheaper tax rate, right, Bob?
Oh yeah, they're tax free there too. Yeah.
Anyway, all right, boys. We're back tomorrow. Read your notes tonight in bed before you get ready for Alex Degg tomorrow, who I'm excited to talk to. He got traded just before I arrived in Ottawa, so we've never really had a chance to chat. So this should be exciting.
We'll be ready.
All right, boys. Thanks for everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Coming in Hot.
Coming in Hot is brought to you by Botano.ca. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to never miss an episode.